All right. Well, welcome Tuesday night. May as well call it League night. I cannot wait to kick off first week of League Season 7. I cannot believe League is already here. It's not even almost League. It is exactly League. I'm joined by Will WC, last season's champion, who probably knows a thing or two then about Rando. Will, how's it going? We get to talk about Ikir Flip versus Oase Trinix. You ready?
Yeah, I guess a thing or two. Probably not much more than that. Yeah,
okay,
we're getting started here.
You know?
right as we're jumping in here. We saw 50 rupees and 3 bombs, so at least some early resources accessible at the 2 starting locations. Got powder there in Bog Crocs, some bombs from tier 1 at the tree. So all in all, a nice bomb-friendly start. We do see a little bit of divergence here between Ikir and Trinix, who both started at Link's house. Trinix going Uncle, and presumably we'll see if he goes. Well, actually, we'll see if he goes into Hyrule Castle. Ikir coming over here to Sahasrahla. We see Desert Palace as our green pendant. I'm gonna catch my breath for a second.
Yes. See, this is a great introduction, by the way, to what is the mode this week is a co-op 80 KDB, mouthful of letters and items, and most notably that key D stands for key drop, which means we got even more keys, which is why Will, we have those like stream like name reading, when you got like a 20 sub pack or something that people give. That's pretty much what this mode is. You just like literally every single thing you pick up is gonna be something trackable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's keys gone wild. So that small key on Lumberjack that we saw, it could be a big deal. It could be something that we, an extraneous Skullwood small or GT small at some point. We'll see when those CT smalls show up. They can certainly be, and have in several races so far been pivotal in finding the last of those.
Well, yes. It has certainly been some game-changing moments. For those of you who maybe have seen the previous, like more keys-oriented modes, like key sanity, cross keys, stuff like that. Sometimes, there have been multiple variations of these types of modes trying to maybe tweak the Aga Tower key situation, because when you have to find that second castle tower key, it can be certainly a bit of a hunt. And in this mode, there are not only 2 Aga Tower keys, there are 4 Aga Tower keys, and you bet your bottom dollar that you will have to go beat Aga, because that 8 that we see in the mode is for all dungeons.
Yeah, so a lot has happened there.
That's right.
We got the flute and cannonball chest of Eastern Palace.
Yep. Yeah, try not to skip
coming over to grab all of that at the same time, as well as the sword on the back of Sahasrahla. Meanwhile, Oase is actually the only one now making it into Kakariko. Flip Hill saving and quitting from the Lost Woods to come over, get the sword, get the flute before heading into the village. Whereas 2Pearl2Furious, no knowledge of that flute yet, or the sword for that matter.
Right, yeah. And typically speaking, especially this early, you see, Oase and Trinix doing some really good strategy, right? Because they're trying to split up, get as much coverage as you can, because you have 2 people trying to do work, and hopefully trying to make things more efficient. But that being said, Ikir and Flipio found the flute and the sword. These are super great. Do you see what 2Pearl2Furious just found? Nice try, Kate. It was 1 pearl. We will get 2 pearls really soon.
That is a perk of this mode. They also now have some flippers there off of Bottle Merchant. We also, I believe, Oase has a glove tracked on their side, so picked that up, I think, in Blind's Hut, but I didn't see exactly where.
I'm sure the information has been relayed across teammates. Communication, by the way, is extremely underrated. You need to have great listening skills, not just saying that for the sake of saying that. Especially when you have co-op modes and then you're trying to, nice hook shot in the back of tavern. You're trying to, look at your own things that you got to track. I was like, I found this here, and I found, pod key and waterfall. And then as all you're doing is trying to play the game, your partner's also yelling in your ear, saying, "Hey, I found this and I found this." So it can be quite the doozy.
Yeah, it's definitely a mode where you're in constant contact with each other, sharing where locations are, where each other should go, or what you're thinking about doing next. And communications key, memory is key, or having
Memory,
a good
yes,
bookkeeping
keyhole
system
memory.
for keeping track of all those small keys, because there are a bunch of them. Glove was, in fact, in Blind's hut there.
Yes. Yeah, remembering things is definitely something that is highly recommended. Not only, of course, in co-op modes for ADKDB, but also just in general. If you try to remember things instead of forgetting them, you will have better success on average.
Yeah. So it looks like 2Pearl2Furious is at least going to come over here and get the sword out of Sahasrara from Owase. See if he continues that route into Eastern.
Yeah.
If so, he will find that flute over there.
Yeah, and typically the dive into Eastern, I mean, it can be a bit more. I won't say like polarizing. You know, some people have very opinions about going into Eastern, whether or not you should. Co-op certainly makes it more amenable because again, it's just Sphere 0 or 1 or whatever we want to consider it to be. So things are available to you. But also in key drop mode, Eastern has a little bit higher value than average, just because again the keys under the pots are shuffled in. So there is at least one more item that's available to us, which is the Dark Square Pocky. It's not logic right now because we're with the lamp, but it is something that certainly at this stage, Iker, Flipio, Oase, Trinex, they've been in Invitational League for actually, I don't know, probably at least 3 or 4 seasons by now, maybe 5. So I have high confidence, especially with that sword, they can get that pot key.
Yeah. Eastern is often, I think, especially in this mode with the key drop, also a little bit more of a, you're probably going to have to come here twice since the barrier to clear it is raised in this dungeon with the addition of the shuffle on the small keys. So, just a higher likelihood that you're going to have to come in here. Do you see Owase has the hook shot? I did not see where that
Trinex is getting it right now. Easy.
Gotcha.
Back of Tavern. That one was, yeah, I have maybe about a 10% chance of catching any given item at any given point. That being said, our trackers for tonight, one of the league admins, Lumaga, with his son, QWERTY Boys, helping out to track. I mean, I know that Lumaga is a seasoned tracker. Has certainly helped us out for a lot. I think this is a great character builder for newer trackers, but it's also a lot of fun. But we really, really appreciate all the tracking that helps them, because honestly, like, they are the ones who, well, keep track of the game for us, so they actually know. Everybody else then knows what they've all done.
If you're the kind of kid who learned how to swim by getting thrown into the deep end of the pool, then you understand what's happening here tonight.
Speaking of deep end, yes, Iker is showing that experience, no amount of experience matters when you're dealing with dead rocks. They will be just as painful to you if you're starting out new or if you're seasoned veteran. Oh, it looks like though we do actually have enough money on at least Flipio's side to afford a Zora with those nice flippers, very convenient to be able to come over here. Yeah, I think
there were a couple of 300s in CAC that Trinex did not have when he was down in the Ice Rod Cave area and finished up at Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah. Well, so what's the nice thing though about, of course, getting the flute now, where Oase and Trinex are both getting, is that certainly you will have eventual logical access to like the minor the flute. But early on, it really makes routing so much more efficient, so much more convenient. And in this case, maybe you didn't have enough money for Zora earlier. So then with the flute, it really is just, one flute call away. As opposed to, I gotta run all the way back, maybe you didn't have flippers. Certainly makes things a little bit nicer, less punishing. Higher cast of small key. Ooh, we got Mitz up there too, and Paradox. That's a very nice find.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate for Iker that he doesn't have the Moon Pearl knowledge yet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was even thinking this too. Right, it's if we between all 4 of our runners, we have Dark World access. Now that being said, are we going to take advantage of the world-renowned Super Bunny Cave on Iker's side as a Super Bunny? What do you think?
It is an option. However, I think with the hook shot in hand already, and the fact that you'll want to be coming right back for those 4 checks in Hookshot Cave once you do find Pearl, I think it's probably a lower value play.
But Super Money. How often can we get this? Okay, I understand. They probably want to win. This is a competition.
You know, there is something to be said.
time.
Maybe it just depends on how good your bunny music is. You know,
It's
whatever
true.
MSU you're using.
It's true.
So.
I think, yeah, but I think what we're hearing is, I think all 4 runners said they have vanilla MSU, with the exception, I think, of Flipio, who has Crystal Chronicles. But, I mean, I think we're maybe using iCure's audio, so...
It's tough for me to tell exactly where the audio is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I know our setup helper is working behind the scenes as best they can on getting
No, yeah, no, super
squared up here.
Yeah, and it does actually look like, right, even though you couldn't see anything on your screen for Flipio, it was actually not a setup helper or technical difficulty. The screen is intended to be black or dark without the lamp, and however, I did see a very shiny red rupee light up in the dark for the key rat, so, and we actually did see a Flipio Safe Scum, the Hyrule Castle small key that I just got from the back of the escape. Or sorry, on Zora Ledge, and so that's going to be one check that they don't have to go back for.
So that's, you know, nice knowledge, because of course you need 2 small keys to get down to the ball and chain guard in the bottom of the castle, and to Zelda Cell if you have the Hyrule Big.
Yeah, the Hyrule Castle suddenly got a lot more interesting, because typically just in regular key sanity mode, you're just looking for that one sewers key, right? The one Hyrule Castle small key, kind of similar to like the one swamp key. But now, when the key rat is shuffled, when the 2 guards have small keys, and the ball and chain has a big key, they're all shuffled in. I mean, one key doesn't really get you very much. In fact, you probably, I mean, logically speaking, you need 3 keys. You kind of get to the back of Hyrule Castle. And then, of course, all 4 keys to get to Zelda Cell. So, I mean, it can be quite far.
Right, yeah. 3 keys is the minimum to put any new checks into logic in Hyrule Castle, being, of course, the key rat, as well as the 2 boomerang room chests. Boomerang, you know what I mean.
Yeah, boomerang, right. Boomerang guard. And map guard, yes. But they're certainly so good. Alright, looks like, yeah, we're just gonna finish up what the other, I guess, like, kind of backtracking or over-tracking. Don't forget to track any of these teams, just repeating what the other one has done. And I think right now, right, don't forget to track us. They've attained their Pearl, which means they now have regular Dark World access via myths, and then Oase and Trinex, the 2Pearl2Furious, are going to get their myths right now. And as you mentioned before, because they're coming here with the Pearl, with, in fact, 2 Pearls, no less, they are going to be able to get Dark Death Mountain, Super Bunny as a non-bunny, and Hookshot Cave, and maybe scouting a little Turtle Rock if they so choose.
Yeah, I guess they won't be too furious if there's something good up here, right? Right, Cleveland?
Oh my gosh, Will, where have you been? I hope Olive heard that joke. Olive, that's right, Scary Olive. Yes, he heard the joke. The 3rd member of 2Pearl2Furious.
I apologize for nothing.
Why is it not 3Pearl3Furious? Olive, please. This has been a team, by the way. It's been around for I think so maybe since season like 2 or 1 or something. Maybe not all. I think. And maybe there was like a difference in like season 1's roster or something like that, but I think this is a very stable team, been in league throughout most seasons. So I've always wanted to know why it was 2Pearl2Furious. I think Iker and Flipio with Purdy Wong this year. This has also been a very stable team. Maybe there was like one roster change, I think, in one season. But they've also been, again, like these guys have been around playing Zelda and, at a very certainly consistently high pace. I would like to point out, for what it's worth, you actually see the name title. Don't forget to track us with a lowercase t on the 2. They had it capitalized one season, and that was their worst season. So I'm really glad that they actually lowercase their t. It's probably just a good luck charm at this point.
Yeah, I think that's been a key part of their success, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, okay. We've gone to Super Bunny. There are some nice keys here. We have was a Meyer Bing, I think, and
a Swamp Small, I think.
Swamp Small. Yes, that's right. Yes, Swamp Palace suddenly is no longer the key we need now, instead of 1 key available, there are 6 total keys. You can kind of think of it as the water level like pod. A water pod, if you are into those kinds of dungeons. In that, you need a lot more. We have another swamp spall. Yeah, you need a lot more keys because there's apparently a lot of them just floating around in pots. And now they're no longer in the pots. I mean, they could be still, but usually speaking, they're probably out in the wild.
Yeah, we also saw a CT small there in Hookshot Cave. I believe that's the first one out of 4.
Great.
And TR is the Ether Medallion that we have, so we're Hammer and Samaria away from checks being available in TR.
Yeah. Now we do start with boots. I'm trying to remember. I believe it was Trinex. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is one of the people I think that was that has the ability to hover to, well, Trinex as a pokey. However, that being said, it might be somewhat more of a tall order to do this on demand, especially when Trinex itself, the turtle, is like 1 big key and like 4 or 5 more small keys away. That was going to be the TR big key.
Yeah, I think we're still. I think this mode in particular, you're pretty unlikely to see a hover to Trinex unless we're memeing after the race or something.
Yeah, but we actually haven't made our way into, looks like Thiestown, and no small keys. So the front of Thiestown remains relatively the same in that you're still going to be able to get the front 4 checks. If you come in here with the big key, you do get 1 more check, which is the hallway pot key. So you can actually just use the big key in the back, run all the way to the top of the hall, and then pick up the pot there. And then if you want anything else beyond that, you're going to have to bring another small key with you because everything's going to be locked out. Now, we don't have the big key, so we're probably just going to front 4, and then the benefit about co-op is that you're probably not going to have as much health as you normally do because, again, your partner might have just stolen a bunch of hard containers from you because he was checking other stuff, and then you were left with nothing. So it's going to be pretty fast exit from this dungeon without a mirror.
Yeah, so it looks like Flip Heel was the first one to go into Hyrule Castle through the map chest and got an ice rod out of there.
Okay, that's certainly a
And
very necessary item.
Taking that 1 key that he saved Scum earlier to come down here to this room. He's going to set up a death warp after getting a pod small there. And again, like you said earlier, that's logically behind 3 Hyrule Castle smalls.
Yeah, it looks like we're trying to kind of whittle down our health from the Boomerang Guard. Nice map to Hyrule Castle. Very hilarious.
That's a good one.
Yes.
But yeah, it looks like Flip Heel's going to be heading to Dark Cross here. I think that's about the only thing he can do.
Yeah. And probably at this point, I mean, I don't think he has any reason to save Scum any more Hyrule Castle keys. But pod small certainly very, very worthwhile. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I know that sometimes there's maybe a difference technically between some of the seeds that are rolled and based on the branch, and I believe this is still actually rolled by Sahaban. No, this is rolled by the Dorsey, and so there is no fire rod logic. So this is actually hard locked by the lamp. I know that sometimes in BT branch you can have, because there are torches on the way, you can kind of you need maybe the lamp or the fire rod, but this one's just strictly going to be the lamp.
Right. Yeah, there's a few kind of minor differences like that here. Right now we're seeing a whole lot of runners doing diverging checks all at once. So trying to keep up as best we can with things happening on literally all 4 screens that we're doing new checks on.
Yeah, I mean, and again, one of the cruxes of efficiency for co-op is that you want to get as much coverage as you can. That being said, we don't really have a hammer right now, and for those who kind of played Myth's only Dark World access, the bottleneck for where you can start is really just a single point, which is kind of in the Village of Outcasts. So you really kind of see these guys trying to do as much as they can and go as far as they can, without the hammer, because if you want to go back to, let's say, Hype Cave or Pyramid, I guess, it's a very far trek, right? So you really want to make sure that you cover as much as you can.
Right,
make,
and
make your trip
if
more
you end up
down.
having to go back to pod or something like
Oh
that,
yeah,
which,
pod is
that
also
is
terrible.
a long journey.
Yeah.
Even with the boots, of course, it feels even worse without that. Or that trip feels even worse without them. But
Ooh, we had a big key to GT and pinball. I'm sure that Oase probably has already found that as well. Maybe in his foray into Skullwoods. Yeah, but also Skullwoods. I know that some people, instead of you potentially needing 0 small keys in order to go beat Mothula in the back, because usually, the Gyptos in the back will have that small key for you, or you'll probably want in one of the pots, like West Lobby pot key. Not anymore. You will need 2 Skullwood small keys to go in order to go beat Mothula. 3, if you want to try to drop in the front without being stuck there. A lot of different changes for key drop.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of, and kind of the worst feeling is when you're later on in a seed and you're trying to track down one of those small keys for your partner, or one that you've forgotten that they mentioned, and racking your brain. Okay, well, was that a swamp small or a skull small that I left there? Because you've seen at that point up to 12 of them, right? So
yeah.
I mean, it's real easy to get mixed up.
No, and that's also, I think, a part that is maybe not as emphasized, maybe some people don't realize or take for granted until you kind of start playing, because it's kind of one thing to say like, oh, okay, together we've got 5 swamp keys or something. It's like, okay, I got 2, you got 3, together, okay, now we can focus for swamp, right? And then you're just like, okay, well, where did you get those keys? And now you're just like, because the tracker just tells you how many you picked up, right? You need to use some additional, maybe brain power, memory, as we have mentioned before early in this cast, perhaps, to try and help you remember, or hope you keep a good bot. And then you can, bot scrub. But I mean, all that takes extra effort that you may not have been expecting to go spend.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot to manage while you're also not necessarily low percenting this, but you're probably not getting every safety or every heart that you would normally get, because you're not picking up, usually heart pieces and stuff like that your partner finds. You may be dodging entire areas if there's no progression there. So you do have to manage the extra weight of the communication challenges, thinking for 2 runners.
Oh no, yeah. Do you remember when you said that going over to, let's say, like Pod or East Dark World is a very long journey? Well, did you know the Hinox would really like to have Oase be a frequent flyer?
Yeah, that is one of the risks of the Dark World on lower health, is that you take one body from someone out there and it can just all be over like that.
Yeah. It's kind of been, somewhat more, I won't say necessarily typical, but even in the vanilla game, once you kind of land into Dark World, the difficulty level suddenly, quote unquote, ramps up more than you might expect. Everything is 2 hearts of damage to you. Nice pod key on Catfish. And then, you're still on green mail, you don't have that many hearts, and Flip Heal is 1 hit away from dying, it's just as, yeah. Okay, we might have used some NMG knowledge to go and pick up a bush to get hearts, so he's not a 1-hit KO anymore.
Hey, if you're like me, you know where that heart is too. I know where every safety heart is. So I've used every one of them, and I've needed every one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, at least for what it's worth, right? You can see that both teammates are relatively even, at least in health, right? You got, one person's 5, the other person's 6, 7, etc. So it's not, as lopsided. So kind of both people are, bonding over a similar experience, right? And I've certainly seen co-ops where one person is literally playing like spoiler log level, 4 heart, Helma, fighter sword, green mail. And then the other one's just kind of coasting over with like 11, 10 hearts. It's like, what's the problem? It's like, oh, I guess I just got all the heart containers in my class.
Yeah. It sure does look like we're going into pod here for some kind of progression there that's going to open things up, because we have not a whole lot else that is unchecked between our 4 runners at this point.
Yeah,
outside of pod. We do have four pod small keys on Flip Hill's side, so
Yeah, and
that
we actually
puts a
look at
fair bit of the dungeon into logic.
Oh yeah, yeah. No bow and no hammer, but those are kind of like minor details. We actually see Trinex in a very similar position to Flipio, like relatively soon. Like he's got 3 pod keys in the big key. He's gonna get his 4th one here on Catfish. And so yeah, I think you're right though, because we've got so much coverage. Pod is kind of one of our last areas, I guess, that we really don't have very many eyes on. So we're gonna see what's here. Could be a hammer, could be a bow, could be 3 bombs. Exciting.
One other thing that we're going to see here is a new check from Oase coming up on the ball and chain guard.
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
That'll be something to keep an eye on as well here.
Yeah, and so yeah, you kind of see on the tracker, right next to that sword, the Buzzer sword, there's a little like Zelda icon, so that tracks the Hyrule Castle key. So that is actually new. That Sigma has put in for this season, specifically for ADKDV. And we have 2 Hyrule Castle small keys. Ball and chain guard is not going to be in logic because we don't have 3 of them yet. Or sorry, all 4. But I mean, it's a check available to us, and we are $1 richer.
That is huge.
Yes, absolutely. Monumental after we've already afforded Zora and probably Kiki and Dig Game and Chess Game. we can still do Pyramid Fairy. Okay, that is something for our nest egg retirement.
That's true. That's true.
Ooh, okay. Looks like we can't potentially go in. No scouting. It is double ether. Some people cast Calls Ether as a celebration. No, we're happy to be
go
here.
Ahead and open it right up with the last of his magic there.
Right.
And 1 small key, but of course you're going to have to leave something behind here with coming in with 1, but of course you're going to have to leave the fire lock stuff behind, and you don't have the big key, so you're not really, anticipating this being your only visit into Mire. Probably.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. But by the way, Flipio found a Mire small key in Harmless Hallway, which is 6 pod key lock. It's kind of interesting. Maybe the fire lock side, which does require all the Mire small keys. Maybe I mean that just kind of means it's pretty deep in logic. So maybe we don't have to worry about it quite yet. Yeah, but that being said, we are in here with 1 Mire small key. Mire also becomes a very interesting dungeon in key drop because typically you don't have to come with any. 1 small key in key sanity is really nice because you can save yourself a couple of stream transitions. But here, this Bari, no longer a small key, it is a big key too. Ice Palace. We get to visit Fishbone, potentially. And that also has a key underneath the pot that, has a fish bone in it. It's pretty exciting.
That makes sense.
Yes. I'm a big fan of this. I really like some of how this changes for, you get to see a lot more content in these types of dungeons that you otherwise may not ever see unless you play something like Doors, in which case all the dungeon rooms are shuffled. But otherwise you really don't have any reason, to go into these other kind of extra rooms.
Yeah, it is kind of fun to see a little bit more of the game that's kind of just, the added flavor, the added spice for when you're playing this a little more casually.
Okay, so we do see
so far, no real big progression showing up though on either side. It's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I was thinking this too. I think we are kind of running out of some stuff to go do. We have the big key to Desert Palace. That is something new we can go do.
Is it?
I don't
think it is. Because we don't have a way into desert.
We do not have a mirror or a book. You are absolutely correct. Here, I was just thinking. I was like, oh, we'll just flute to desert. It is not inverted. We need that book. Okay, it looks like Lipio though. The sequence break a little bit farther. No bottle, but we have seen the mimics kind of go away on their own, maybe with a little coercion, because that piranha plant looks pretty intimidating.
So the one thing we did see out of Mire there that's kind of interesting is that the Ikir picked up the lamp out of the map chest.
I did see that, yes. Okay, it looks like Trinex. Oh, maybe we are not going to go to the Bullock side. No, okay.
Yeah.
What does the Bullock side?
There's no options other than to do a mimic clip in this for both of these runners who are in pod right now.
Yeah, it looks like we just got a skull with small key, of course, and 3 bombs. Those are maybe less interesting. That extra
And
skull was
Flip
funky
Heel-
though.
Yeah, Flip Hill's going to set up one more Death Warp here for another save scum on the big key chest and pod.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we saw him do Harmless Hellway, and it's not like the Mire key is maybe not like super. Even a key drop, it doesn't have as high value, but it is higher value. Now you definitely need probably one small key, two small keys. Might probably be you need two small keys for the left side. But this is small key too. Hyrule Castle. Interesting logic. Interesting.
That was interesting. Now, the only thing that we still haven't seen out of Hyrule Castle is that Zelda Cell chest.
Yeah, and of course, Zelda Cell, like some of the other more farther away checks, like the Sound Big Chest, tend to be a bit more isolated more frequently. Just because, again, like you need all 4 Hyrule Castle small keys with logic. You can get there, as we saw on Owase's side, we can get to the Ball and Chain, but you still need the Hyrule Castle big key, right? And then that is only unlocked one check.
So, yeah. So I want to ask you something.
What's that, Will?
What do we have in logic that's unchecked other than Castle Tower right now?
I'm thinking.
So, that cape gets us into Castle Tower. None of our runners who have been to Hyrule Castle thus far have had that in hand. True, we did see Meyer Big Chest is an option as well, with that key not being there.
Oh, yeah, that's
being in
true.
IQ's hands before he went in.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They both Iker and Flip Heel kind of made like a later. Oh my God, Flip Heel's gonna die. Oh,
that was
you not die.
A disastrous Death Rock pattern.
Flip Heel, I mean, may have experienced this a little bit more, doing some more NMG, but like, man, again, these Red Rocks are ruthless. But yeah, you're absolutely right though. Like, because Iker and Flip Heel went into regular Death Mountain earlier, without the Pearl, and then they kind of went into Dark Death Mountain a little bit later, post Pearl. But kind of the opposite. 2Pearl2Furious went up there later to regular Death Mountain, but then with the Pearl in hand, they were able to kind of do Dark Death Mountain, one trip. So kind of
well, the Dead Rocks are at least equal opportunity terrible because Trinex just got blocked getting to the portal there.
Sometimes I do think the Randomizer could potentially make things easier. Again, just because you're Randomizing out the Dead Rocks. I mean, how worse can it possibly be until you see the roller, the Phoenixes, and I'm just saying, okay, we can get copium for week 7.
Awase, I'm not sure why did not do the big chest coming through on this route. Which means you have to do an extra loop back through the lobby coming from the spike chest here, I guess, if you're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so in this case. Have we found anything in Castle Tower, by the way? Because we've gone through the regular, the quote unquote normal 2 chests, and now Iker is making his way into our friend, the archer dude. As far as we go with our 2 keys, this is a key too. TR. Oh, that is.
That doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly, again, we need 5 TR keys now in order to at least get to Trinex, and the 6, of course, to get to Manila Big Key Chest or Lava Chest. So every TR key is always welcome. But yeah, as you said, we can't get into Turtle Rock because we have no hammer, and not to mention, for no Samaria, and yeah. So where's our progression, Will? We've even checked some of the non-logic stuff, right? Like Bolux at a pod. We don't have a bow. We don't have a hammer.
Okay. Have we seen Hobo from anybody?
We have
Did
seen
that get
Hobo.
checked early?
Yes.
I was going to say, I didn't remember if anyone got there. Okay.
Yeah, at least there was a GT small key. Given the counts, they all look like they've been there. Or at least maybe Trinex hasn't.
Alright, well, Flip Hill's going to give us the Firelocked checks on left side here.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's the one who had 2, I think, Meyer small keys. So I guess he got 1 in pod, and he's got the lamp, the porker we found in Meyer. has a very nice map to something. I've already forgotten what that was.
Yeah, maps of limited importance in all dungeons. You do want to know what your crystals are, and for access to GT, and you want to know what your green pennant is. You want to know what your red crystals are. Those sorts of things to have item unlocks, but still, that information is lower priority in this mode.
Yeah,
you're going to be doing all 12 dungeons.
Right, yeah. And kind of unlike maybe like the BT branch for the Doors branch, there is no map compass logic. So just because you see a map doesn't necessarily mean it puts like the dungeon more quote unquote in logic. There's just, those aren't requirements anymore. They're just kind of there for your convenience. Or inconvenience, depending on how you want to view things as. Swamp Palace. We cannot get into Swamp. I was all about to say, why haven't we gone to Swamp? It is because we have no mirror.
We have so much to do for dungeons that we don't have access to right now. We've got Ice Palace keys, and we've got Swamp keys, we've got TR keys, but
iCare is coming back in Eastern. I see on his tracker that we apparently picked up 2 Eastern Palace small keys. Suddenly, we might be seeing Eastern Palace big key chest.
That's true. Yeah, we got both of the small keys in Hype Cave and Skull Woods, so we got them pretty early in the Dark World chaos that was unfolding when everyone was going in different directions.
Well, I'm really excited. I mean, iCare does have the hook shot out. I don't know if he's going to take a shortcut, or I don't know if he knows the shortcut. To be able to kind of MSS clip into those through those blocks, you can actually kind of bomb yourself into a correct position and then kind of do a hook through a moving block to get yourself into the big key chest a bit faster. But I mean, that being said, we can just see the more traditional route of just going there the looping way. But this is something that is in logic, so I'm very curious now to see.
Fact that both of them are here makes me think that they've deduced that this is the last place that's left for them, and I think they may be right.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a telltale sign when you kind of see both people get a bottlenecked in a very similar location, because he's like, okay, this is our last location, unless we've mistracked something, which I do not think, of all people, I can't flip your will. Is this a kid? Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
This is dumb.
Oh, this is hilarious. Oh my gosh. See, normally you would be, okay, if this shovel, you're like, oh, haha, okay, we'll get it.
Okay,
but this is
Fetch Quest, but this is, who does that? Who puts the first bottle as the last location 37 minutes into a co-op scene?
In a co-op scene, you're... Okay, sick kid. Powder. Shovel.
Mirror? Yeah.
Mirror. Nice call, Will. Nice call. Do you want to see the mirror out of curiosity? Mirror opens up like a ton.
You sure would have liked it when you first got into Dark World, and not so much when you're last locating it, which...
That's true. That's true. By the way, we
probably
still have
going to
no
be
hammer.
the case for 2Pearl2Furious here in a couple minutes, too.
Yeah, you see Iker and Flipeel. Alright, Flip says he's gonna turn his mirror. But yeah, again, we're still on the same one Dark World entry point that we've had since, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. And yeah, now, because we've already done all the stuff with no mirror, we get to come back and do all the stuff with the mirror. Hooray.
Yeah, so you love to try and get over to far-flung places like K45 and Graveyard Ledge. Once we find a book, I mean, I guess at least you didn't miss out too much. You didn't have book to do Bombo's tablet, but now you've got Hero suddenly available to you, which looks like where Flip is heading, or not.
Well, he was trying to head there, and then he got dead rocked.
He got dead rocked completely off the mountain, it looks like. So
he's dead rocked. I mean, every league season they just get a little bit stronger.
Dead rock's too strong. Admins, please nerf. Yeah, looks like 2Pearl2Furious is kind of splitting up. I'm not sure how much of Pod is left for them unchecked. I think maybe Trinex was there with 3 keys earlier. There may be one or two more of the 6 link or 6 key checks. But right now we're going to see the new kind of progression here from Ike here heading up to Hera once he does an extra mirror on top of Spec Rock. Flip grabbing that Hera big key out of Thieves Town. Looks like he may be thinking along the same lines here, because all 6 checks of Hera are available to Don't Forget to Track Us right now. Meanwhile, 2Pearl2Furious is kind of whittling through their final few checks available before they end up realizing, okay, well, it has to be those 2 Eastern small keys in the lamp, putting the big key chest in logic there. Oh, Fliphill going to pick up Powder. This is a sneaky, annoying check to have to get with just the mirror and no hammer. And that is our Fire Rod, so that's another find that's going to be gated to 2Pearl2Furious until they get that mirror. Ike here doing his Hera pot upstairs in Hera. Got 20 bucks out of the big chest. And another Meyer Small out of the compass chest. Olase trying the hover over to right side pod. Not getting it. Looks like he's going to leave that one for now. Head to the back. That hover, if you can pull it off, is really nice, especially in a situation where, for some reason we don't have a bottle until, they end up last locating the bottle.
Oh, that's a really nice story. What did you last locate? A bottle. Really?
Yeah.
Of all things to last locate. But yeah, that apparently is the thing, right. So Iker looks like he's speeding Moldorm. Moldorm, just like Dead Rocks, so apparently don't get any easier regardless of how much you can play this game.
So I think you might not have been back yet. The one big find that we had was the Magic Bat had the Fire Rod.
Ooh.
Which Fliphill now has. So that is a pretty spicy find, being that without the hammer, you only can get to it with the mirror.
Yeah, no, that's actually very, very true. So where is this hammer?
Probably in the most annoying place possible, so I'm thinking like Ice Palace.
Ice Palace is a very, yes, I agree with you that it is one of the worst possible locations for the hammer.
Maybe like
trench
pot of swamp
yeah, exactly.
or something.
That was the other one too. Yeah, anytime in the front of swamp that's not hammer locked. Sometimes, especially since kind of Specky clip was discovered not last year but the year before. With the hook shot, suddenly like the hammer requirement is no longer necessary for swamp. Similar here, but I mean, like the hammer can still be there in the front of swamp, and it's just not one of those locations where you are really eager to go search for. Looking at the bombos and checkerboard.
So Flip finding both fire sources there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got all the fire sources. Sure, we exhausted all our fire sources, and that means that Ice Palace must have something, right? We bring in all 3 for super logic.
Speaking of fire sources, the one in Hera Basement giving us another pod small key.
Yeah, we're definitely racking up our pod stuff.
Yeah, at this point, Don't Forget to Track Us only are missing the knowledge of Helmasaur, since Fliphill did I think he did keep that Hyrule Castle small key out of the key chest, but either way, they have full knowledge of 13 out of 14 checks, and until we have Hammer and Bow, that's not really... Pod's not going to be on the mind until you're clearing dungeons, basically, checking things off.
Yeah, and especially since they've already been... Both of them have been back to Eastern a second time, maybe not much more reason to go back. Hopefully we can go back with the big key and the bow. So then, especially in hand the mirror, we can just kind of take down both Eastern and Pod, in one trip as opposed to maybe yet another one.
Okay, so I did not see earlier what was on Floating Island up on the mountain, but it looks like Ikir is heading back for it. So this could be something that we might have missed out on earlier.
That's also true too. I want to say with a small key. I don't quite remember, but in this mode, being key drop, the odds are reasonable. If you don't know what it is, it could just be a small key. But we'll find out. Flip actually gonna buy some bomb upgrades. I certainly don't blame him. We are still somehow on Fighter Sword. After that one very early sword in Saha, and we have not gotten anything else. Flip is buying more bombs? Where are we going?
Is he gonna go do Bomb Spooky in Swamp Palace?
Oh, dude! Oh my gosh, I am so excited.
that feels like a Flip Heel thing to do. If
Oh
I'm
my
quite
gosh,
honest.
that is awesome. I'm Flip Heel. I've got my popcorn.
That floating island small key was a Thieves Town small key.
Okay.
We are still missing the big key for that dungeon, so that doesn't put anything new into logic there until we have that. But now I think that is the second one that we have found in this seed. So the dungeon is clearable. Quick recap of the race here. Something spicy is about to happen over on 2Pearl2Furious' side. Trinex is heading back with both of the Eastern Palace small keys and the lamp that we got pretty late on. And
Meyer map chest, yeah. Yeah.
He is heading over here to get a green potion out of the base big key chest. So you'll then see him blink and say, "Okay, well, let's go to Sick Kid and get our mirror that we are now last locating."
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. The fact that, like, you know, you talk about all the things that you last located in the course of the scene. I don't know if bottle is really ever up there, but it is pretty funny. The fact that that is our first and only bottle so far. And yeah, we also did see Ikir and Flip Heel get bottlenecked. They were in Eastern Palace at the same time.
Mirror. Why are you going back?
Flip Heel. Sometimes when you get a mirror at 40 odd minutes, okay, on your first bottle, sometimes we forget that they happen.
Alright, and there's the mirror for Trinex. Hopefully that coaxes Oase back out of Meyer here soon, since we know that left side is empty.
Yeah, my guess is, yeah, it looks like Oase is gonna finish up what he was doing, potentially. Maybe just get this Bari and then go. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna skip on Firelock side for Meyer, and then definitely gonna go back after our one bottle, which leads to our mirror. And Flip Heel. So I know Flip Heel is also pretty seasoned spoiler runner. He's been piloted by Werfjig several times. He was part of the pilot spoiler tournament. So being here on Fighter Sword and no hammer is no stranger situation for Flip Heel. You see, Moth is already down. Easy peasy.
And it's a shovel, because why wouldn't it be?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a shovel. Did we do Maya Lobby? It was a heart piece, I want to say. I hope we did it.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, we have seen everything out of Meyer between the four runners, other than what we have on Vidi. So, still looking for that hammer primarily as the next big item. Of course, we still need to find a bow. Still need some Aria. Still need. What do we need beyond that? We need some Swamp Smalls. We need a bunch of TR keys.
Yeah, we need a lot of everything.
Yeah,
give me a buffet.
CT Smalls. You know, who can believe that? Yeah. And a Desert Small, because why not?
Yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah, we need a lot of Desert Small keys too. I guess Flip Heel already went to the back of Desert to what is it, Beamos? I think you couldn't get the tiles too.
Yeah, so he went all the way to the back there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we actually see Ikir, no Kana Samaria, which means that we are gonna see the non-icebreaker route, but also we have no hammer. What is this? Eastern pick.
Alright, back to triple dip Eastern.
Yeah. Triple?
What a day.
Well, you're thinking too small, okay? We're gonna quadruple dip this plate potentially. Once for the front.
I don't see how that's possible, and I hope you don't find a way to make it true.
Yeah. Okay. Are any for those predictors who guessed hammer and ice, you have won the love and affection of I don't know. Not of these guys, for sure.
All right, so Hammer gives Ikir the ability to clear this dungeon.
Oh, there's a bow and a shovel. Where was the
And
shovel?
there's a bow behind your Mothula fight.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Things starting to fall together, or come together, I guess. Fall into place. Combine your analogies, you get fall together.
We all love to
Things
fall.
coming
That means
together
it's
for Don't
co-op.
Forget to Track Us. There's the
Yeah.
Thieves' Spig as well in Minipot's room of Ice Palace. So, you know, more and more green opening up on their map. Good news for 2Pearl2Furious is that Trinex is heading here into Ice Palace, going to get that hammer with a fair bit quicker than Don't Forget to Track Us got to it on their side once they got the mirror. Still, though, Don't Forget to Track Us had that mirror for several more minutes before 2Pearl2Furious, and with how much of the seed was gated behind it, they still have a pretty healthy lead at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can kind of also see just from how their light world routing, and I guess early dark world routing, the fact that Iker and Flip were kind of both in Eastern Palace at the same time, kind of shows you, I think, just how much more, how efficient they were, in their route, and that they just pretty much are less located, together.
Yeah, so they were definitely paying attention to, what each other had done, what the logic was.
Mm-hmm.
Had kind of pieced it together by that point to know that they both needed to be there.
Yeah, Flippill even finding a 4 bomb pack in the Pot Roki in Swamp Palace. By the way, for those of you also nice silvers in Trench 1 of Swamp, Flippill did spend some of his hard-earned cash to go buy 2 bomb upgrades in preparation potentially for what you're predicting, Will, which is going to be his attempt here at Bomb Spooky. Just try and save himself an extra swamp key that we don't have to necessarily use for left side swamp. We've already seen Specky Clip be extremely powerful in this mode in that not only of course it bypasses the hammer requirement, it also bypasses 1 small key for swamp.
Yeah, so we got a lot of action now with Iker with a cold stare fight on Master Sword. No picnic for sure. Spider Sword. Yeah, that's why.
We would like to wish the Master Sword existed. I'm sure Iker would love to have a sword upgrade.
It looked blue.
I know. We all love to see things that we want to see. It would match Iker's color palette too. Alright, we see Flippill doing the Bomb Spooky. Alright, Holster is down. PR key? Okay. Alright, looks like what Flippill is gonna try to do, this is I think the version that Telethar I think had somewhat developed, or at least tried to make more consistent. Maybe it sounds like Flippill got it? Question mark? Very, very nice. Yeah. That is awesome. So what he did was he placed 2 bombs at the same time, and he kind of threw one off to the side. You only need 2 attempts too, and so the bomb that's kind of thrown aside is kind of like your visual cue. So you pick up the bomb that you keep, and then as long as you throw it on the first frame that the bomb, like your timer bomb, I guess, is exploding, the bomb can do Bomb Spooky, and it'll hit the switch.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Works every time. I mean, Flippill, he bought 2 bomb upgrades in preparation for this. So maybe he's a little bit less confident in his bomb spooky skills, but I mean, honestly, this looks great. Nothing to worry about.
We're gonna get the left side swamp checks here from Flippill. A little bit out of logic right now, but
yeah, just a tad. Came in with we come in with 3 swamp small keys. So unless there's a vanilla swamp small somewhere in a chest or a pot or something, Flippill's not going to be able to finish it. But
also chat saying that we saw King of Samaria from Swamp Big Chest. I did not see the chest get open.
Did we?
So.
Okay.
Just a Skullwood small over on left side of Swamp.
Man, you know, into
What feels heavy?
Motula has a shovel, right? So Motula still, even though you only need 2 keys to get back there, it does need all 5 small keys to put in logic. And so, look at where all these small keys are. They're so far away. I mean, that one small key is 6 swamps key locked. And we have 3 right now, for everybody involved.
All right. Meanwhile, there's just things are still happening everywhere. All
Yes,
at once.
We have not had to last locate quite yet together.
Trinex is coming back, Trinex. Ikir is back for the hammerlock checks here on the right side of Ice Palace.
Okay.
It's a mail upgrade. That's nice and French vanilla, I guess.
Would have been pretty nice to have for Colster, not gonna lie.
Yeah, probably would have.
But you know, Iker shows of why he's here in Invitational, and he took down Colster no problemo, using his nice compass to feet stamp here in the back of Swamp. It looks like Flipio's gonna go basically all the way to the end. I mean, this could be a vanilla Swamp small key. In which case, if it is, Flipio can just go and beat Swamp Palace. He can just go beat Argus.
Oh
it is a vanilla Swamp god! Oh my gosh, Flipio's persistence. Oh, it is amazing. I didn't know, okay? It's just that, you know, if you were playing regular key sanity, right, and then, you know, oh, there's a pod key and pod to this dungeon, you know, this, you can think of Swamp again, you know, as a second pod. And Flipio believed. So now we're gonna use our silver arrows. One he dug up.
All we need now is the sword to drop off Argus, and we'll just have the meaniest Swamp Palace of all time.
And we actually see Iker joining Flip here in Swamp. He doesn't have to do left side because, you know, Flip's already done that with Bomb Spooky, gotten his logically required skull with small key. But other than that, we don't need any more.
Okay, thank God it was just a pendant on Argus.
Ooh. Speaking of pendants, though, so we saw that Skullwood was a pendant, and looks like Swamp was a pendant. So, and we saw that from Saha, Desert is our green pendant. We are really just one small key away from being able to put that in.
That is true. Also means that we're very limited in things that we can have a GT search for today. We still need 2 Castle Tower Smalls, and we could potentially need one of the Desert Smalls from GT, but otherwise, everything to clear the 7 Crystal Dungeons will be outside of GT, so that will be the bulk of what we are still looking for.
Yeah, and even though the number of items that we potentially could still have be in GT, those Castle Tower keys, whether it's 1 or 4 or 3 or however many you're searching for, you're probably just gonna try and rush GT regardless. It's so dense, even more dense, right? Because than quote unquote normal, because there are 4 pot keys that are now shuffled into the pool, so GT has even more higher density than maybe like a regular, you know, a key sanity or like open mode type of thing.
Trinex making great work with this hammer here on his Cold Spear fight. I am really. He's been quite aggressive, but doing very well with it so far. Please don't let me jinx you.
Well, I think the more that we watch, the more nerve-wracking.
Fine, I'm gonna watch Kiki the Monkey.
Okay, alright.
Alright, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, this is also show that, like, so Iker, I know that he spun a lot with Spider Sword, but I think he was just trying to take the fight a little bit more cautiously because, you know, he's probably on lower health at the time, so he didn't want to really take an early exit. Any type of death, co-op or not, is pretty expensive. Especially here, well, nobody on 2Pearl2Furious has the Cane of Samaria, and Iker certainly didn't have it when he went in Ice Palace, so even gonna be an even longer trip back to Cold Stare if you don't survive.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure you get that fight done in one try because it's just it's a punishing place to get back to, and obviously a huge time loss. Time losses like from bad deaths feel even worse in co-op because you're holding back your partner potentially from information that you could be providing, or other things you could be doing that could contribute to their to the overall team success. So it just feels outsized in any kind of big time loss like that in the co-op mode.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's, I guess, like both a benefit and a curse. Yes, to playing co-ops. On the one hand, you get to play with your partner. You can, it's kind of a different, slightly different skill set. You guys try to be more efficient. You can get so much more coverage done. And have a lot more fun. On the other hand, if something goes wrong, it's not only, as you said, it's not only your time that you've spent, which you may not mind if it's if it's just a solo run for you, right? You have a teammate that you're literally pulling with you, so it kind of everything feels just more amplified when it is in co-op.
Yeah, so we did see the TR Big Key was in the back of Eastern on the Igor.
Yep, Igor. We love Igors. Igor is experiencing the fun of Igors. Alright, Flippio actually going to use his bombos. Yeah, that he picked up in Checkerboard Cave. And with only apparently still Fighter Sword after Swamp Palace, after Ice Palace, after Eastern, after most of Pod, where are our swords? Well, we are gonna need one more, at least, to try to beat the game.
We are, yes. Maybe we end up searching GT for swords. Maybe, maybe this is going to be even more of a hee-haw kind of seed after the potion and big key chest.
Speaking of the potion and big key chest in Eastern, where's our second bottle? We haven't found one yet either. Where are these things?
At an hour, why would we have why would we have a second bottle?
Yeah, you're right. Why would we have a second of anything?
Yeah. Let's see. Ike, you're going to come back in, finish off Pod. This will be a new check for us here with the Helmosaur item. And then I strongly suspect we'll see him head up the mountain. Unless we find something that steers him in a different direction. Obviously, 3 small keys not enough to clear TR. You'd love to go in with 5, especially since you have the Fire Rod, Ice Rod for Don't Forget to Track Us. But even still,
I'm ready for more keys to this dungeon in Turtle Rock.
That is a possibility. An unfortunate but real possibility.
Yeah. I mean, so in spoiler modes, for when you have the log, certainly, I'm very happy to see a small key to this dungeon, because, okay, that's just one fewer thing I gotta worry about, right? I don't have to go, search the world and try to figure out which of these keys are going to be the fastest one to get, because just one fewer problem I have to go deal with in a non-spoiler mode, even in co-op. Yeah, you really don't want to see a small key in this dungeon, because you didn't know about it, right? And you want to try and bring as many keys as you can, so you don't have to potentially double dip the dungeon. And so if you didn't know about it, maybe you put off Swamp or Tiara to Rock or whatever longer than you probably should have, right? In hopes of waiting out for that last key.
Right. Did see a bomb spooky attempt there from Trinex, doing a different setup. Does not look like he was able to get it, and is going to just leave those 2 chests over on left side that we know is just a Skullwood small key, so not that consequential. However, he is coming in. Okay, wait, where was the swamp?
It was in the swamp. Oh, that's a great question. Where was the swamp key?
I completely missed that. May have been somewhere else that was a mirror lock check, but yeah, coming in here without that and missing the cane, that's gonna hurt. Especially since you're not going to find anything else here in the back other than the small key that lets you clear dungeon. And
but I think
heading down here as well. It looks like they're converging.
Yeah, but I think that's even worse then, right? Because normally you're happy to see this small key because that means you can finish. But in this particular case, you want them to come back, and not just for left side, right? You want them to come back to finish this dungeon because then they can come back for Swamp Big Chest. But here they're gonna just finish the dungeon and then question mark.
They're gonna leave that cane until they probably don't have much, if anything, left. And that's probably not great for them, especially since, don't forget, the trackers have been pretty thoroughly cleaning up checks since getting that mirror. Yeah, hopefully Owase has it coming in here, and it's just not tracked. Again, I just did not see where we picked up the Swamp Big, but...
Okay, I have VOD scrubbed. Swamp Big Key is in Meyer cutscene chest.
Oh.
Scary. Very, very scary. We
So we saw
that, right?
We saw Owase going over there.
Oh,
remember?
Right. But he left.
When Trinex was in Eastern?
Yeah, that's right. Because Trinex found that was around the time that Trinex found the bottle, and then turned it in, got the mirror, and then probably was just like, okay, we don't even have that many Meyer small keys. You have the lamp, I guess. Forget it, you know? Owase did not have enough small keys. Oh, you only had one? Right. Flippeel was able to do it because he went to Pod and got his second
he
Meyer.
even confirmed that he did not have that big key by checking for us there. That is...
Oh my gosh.
That is very unfortunate.
These Meyer small keys. Right. Flippeel got his second Meyer small key from Pod Big Key chest. Which is 6P pod key locked. And so I think it was somewhat maybe fortunate. Or no, it was Rahama's hallway. So it was just fortunate that Flippeel had 2 keys, but I guess you maybe weren't meant to do Meyer left side, until much later. But oh man, that is punishing. Yeah,
that's a really nasty cane that requires a Meyer double dip on top of everything else going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is going to be, as you said, this kind of compounding, exacerbating the situation, because so we have to go back to Meyer, left side, to do cutscene chest in order to go to the Swamp Big, and then we go back to Swamp in order to go get the cane, so we can go back to Meyer in order to go beat the boss. Yeah, so we have at least 2 more dungeon tropes for 2Pearl2Furious.
Yeah. Not great.
Meanwhile, we are still on Fighter Sword, fighting Argus. Owase doing a reasonably good job though, for trying to, kind of hook multiple puffs at once with the Fire Sword and spinning.
Yeah,
I honestly don't know.
The real annoying feature of Fighter Sword on Argus is that you can't slash him. You gotta do spins. You gotta land that double spin to kill one of the puffs. And it can be a little finicky with the timing.
Yeah, we kind of see
the timing with the ice rod pinning down to the bottom of the screen. That was really good there on the second attempt.
Yeah, we kind of saw Flippeel also doing silver strats on Argus. It was kind of, I do think this is actually a very nice feature of Randomizer, is that you have more latitude, I guess, as to how you want to beat a boss when you don't have the, let's say, traditional tempered sword equipment that you may like to have for a boss.
The silver arrow strat on Argus is so much fun in the same way that watching a Daredevil motorcycle guy jump the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Because you are one L or R tap away from mirroring out of Swamp Palace, and you're just right there on the edge the entire time. It is very exciting.
For us. Yes. Yeah. Maybe there's an adrenaline rush, for Flippeel in this case for doing.
It's one of the biggest rushes of adrenaline you can get holding a SNES controller in your hand.
By the way, we're here in a new dungeon with T-Sound Big Key that Iker has, and looks like 2 T-Sound small keys? No, all 3 T-Sound small keys. We are going to be able to full clear T-Sound, including getting the big chest. Always a great feeling to be able to actually single dip and full clear an entire dungeon.
I don't think he actually has all 3 because he is showing 0 on his HUD right now.
Oh, good point. Okay, well, 2 is just as good. -1.
Means we'll see everything but the big chest.
Exactly, yeah. to see Trinex. Okay, I think we should be okay. But yeah, look, he's trying to get some spin speed on Helma, so we can use a hammer with a more offset hitbox for the hammer to be more useful. Yeah, takes it down, and that is yet another crystal in the books for 2Pearl2Furious.
Trinex, one of the guys that knows a lot of the kind of more niche glitches in Link to the Past, and has pulled off very good uses of them in those niche situations in several races that I've seen. I know he does a lot of the documentation of it for the ALTTPR wiki of a lot of the tricks, and has kind of provided some of the resources there on the details of how a lot of those glitches work. So, it's kind of it's always kind of fun watching him, getting to see him show off the kind of stuff that he knows to be on the lookout for.
I read the blind pun in my head, and I immediately forgot it. But I would like to point out that Iker, beating blind right now, we could actually read the blind text. I appreciate knowing the blind text when we are fighting the boss.
Feels like pointed criticism, but I'm not going to dive deeper into.
We will maybe not see the blind pun in some races later, but we'll see. There are some, you know how sometimes we get like LSD blind? There are other features of the mirror that you can activate in blind, more recently discovered, which I do think is pretty cool. So hopefully we'll get to see you show some of that off on Restream. Okay, well, looks like with the late hammer, we are going to get hammer pegs. Yes, okay. Like, I think we've already gotten everything else with the smith and the bat, and so this is going to be just a cleanup in this case for a check.
We're going to get simultaneous Eastern Dungeon clears from Oase and Trinex here.
I see Flip Heel apparently. Maybe there was a little bit of miscommunication. Flip Heel went to Hype Cave to go get the first 3 chests in the back, and I guess he really wanted the cape. Was something on Upper Ledge?
I don't think so.
Because Flip Heel went specifically back for it. But I mean, like, if there's not, there's not. It's fine. Maybe he just wants the safety, which I also can understand.
We would have seen Bumper Ledge before Eastern Palace Big Key if it had anything.
Okay, that's actually a really good point. So maybe this is a Spike Cave? Have we seen? No, we have not seen Spike Cave. We don't have Verna, so maybe the cape is that for that. Or Flip Heel is just gonna tell us what's on Bumper Cave now. No, we will be okay. This is probably hammer pegs.
I think he's just getting hammer pegs.
Yeah.
2Pearl2Furious still not gonna have that fire rod as Trinex is heading up the mountain, presumably to. Well, no, he doesn't have the cane either. I don't know. Is this just the small key on Floating Island, I guess?
This could be.
Spike Cave, maybe? So that's all he can really do up here. Although, have they actually gone up to Hera yet since getting the mirror? Or have they mostly
that's
stayed?
actually a good point. No, I think you're right. No, I certainly don't see anything on... Oh, I guess it looks like Oase has beaten Hera. No, according to the tracker.
Okay, so yeah, they did get up here earlier.
I am kind of curious to see in this case if there will be a hovering attempt. There could be. Oh, this is the cape to Aga Tower because we still don't have a sword to get into Castle Tower proper.
No,
Do we have
why
another
would
Castle
we have?
Tower key?
Why would we have Master Sword?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, well, it clearly is not anywhere before GT because we don't need it until Ganon, so that's why the game purposely put it as late as possible.
I am really curious why Flip is here, though. Did we have something in Castle Tower? Is this a TR small or a GT small?
There was a
TR small here?
Yeah, on the Archer dude. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I forgot it. Yeah.
Okay, then that makes sense for him to be here and not in TR already.
Oh, okay. Desert Ledge also has a turtle rock. Okay, that one they probably have already realized they got.
Yeah, I think they did get that one earlier.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, looks like Trinex has picked up his floating island key. It is unfortunate, as you said, that was kind of the only real thing that he was able to do on the mountain, but I mean, a key is a key, so...
Yeah, they're running out of things to do again. Unfortunately, we know they're probably going to find their way to one of them here soon, which is Magic Bat. The other one, the cane and the Swamp Big Chest, is going to be probably still a bit further down the line here until they get back to left side of Mire for that big key, and then have a reason to make a trip back to Swamp Palace now that both of them have cleared it.
I will say, for what it's worth, like if you go to eventually to Mire's, one of your probably last locations, because you don't have Cane, right, and then you get Swamp Big, you're probably going to Swamp as a faster follow. Now that being said, they maybe want to try and hold out for one more Swamp Small if they can try and do left side, because you at least maybe can try and get the rest of the checks as opposed to just the big chest. But you know, again, like the Swamp keys don't have to show up before they go to Swamp. Again.
Yeah. Yeah, the swamp keys don't have to be outside of GT today.
Yeah, that's a great point, right?
Really unfortunate for them.
Yeah, I mean, Flip did some amazing things in Swamp, right? He got Bomb Spooky, he went in with 3 keys. He got Bomb Spooky, he got left side, and then everybody found a nice vanilla Swamp Small key in Waterway Pocky. So they were all able to beat the dungeon. But yeah, the 4 keys didn't have to show up before GT. The Swamp's a pendant.
We're finally going to get our first look inside a Turtle Rock as Flip Heel is the first one in. This is going to be... He's got... Is that 5 on his HUD?
Looks
so
like
he can
5.
do everything but the lava chest right now, which presumably he will skip on his way to clear Trinex.
Yeah, so you probably won't do lava chest, as you said, but keep in mind this is still key drop, and the reason why we need to bring in, instead of like a normal quote-unquote 3 keys, we need 5 keys is because the Pokies now drop stuff. We are still on Fighter Sword. Well, we usually have a Fire Rod, so that's something to go kill the Pokies with, but they will have prizes, so we'll probably at least see him, like, avoid the lava chest door. Please don't open that door unless you're pretty confident about your ability to go find that 6TR small key.
I have calmed a race that was decided by unnecessarily opening that door, and it was not fun for anyone involved.
Oh no! I'm sorry to whoever accidentally did that.
I'll let them remain nameless.
I think Owase, unfortunately, did not have enough magic or health. I didn't quite see what he ended up coming in with, but it was just not enough in order to get through Spike
Just short
Cave.
for Spike Cave,
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, especially since it's one of the few places 2Pearl2Furious is going to get to before Don't Forget to Track Us, although I expect Flip Hill to get there probably after TR.
No more magic for Iker, so we're gonna spin to win. Spin to hammer.
We've hit Argus with literally everything in the arsenal.
Yes. just not the kitchen sink.
Trinex over here at Hammer Pegs, that's gonna put him right next to that Fire Rod, which is one of the 2 kind of key items that 2Pearl2Furious is missing.
Ooh.
Flip Heel is opening Lava Chest.
Do we have 6 keys suddenly? Apparently, I thought we came with 5. Maybe he found a vanilla one in Chomps. I think that was the only one I missed, or maybe Pokey. But if that is, that's hilarious. Vanilla Swamp and Swamp. Thanks, One Fox. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well then, I also did catch. We got 2 deserts. The last part 2 desert small keys. So desert now is beatable. So it looks like we're just hunting for those 2 castle tower keys, and of course a sword or 2. Iker making the best purchase in my opinion, which is the the arrow upgrade. I wonder where he's going. Mire, maybe? Okay.
I think this may be just cleaning up dungeons to kind of catch up while Flip Heel is breaking new ground, because he had to do some extra digging with the left side mire into Swamp Palace, into mire, kind of playing catch up with Flip Heel here. So this may be one of those situations where Flip Heel is kind of so far out in front, it makes sense to just let him give you the route, give you the info on what's needed in TR, and then you can just come through up there and make a faster pass later.
Yeah, and I think what Iker here also is a benefit to Don't Forget to Track Us is that, so he's gonna get the Mire Crystal, and then he already has Hera done and Thieves done and all the other crystals done. So when he finishes Turtle Rock, he can just go into GT immediately, and then get more coverage there, while Flip Heel, as you kind of mentioned, because he's already done all this extra scouting, he just kind of needs to go back and, get the rest of his stuff. So I really like this from Iker and Flip Heel.
Yeah,
throughout this entire seed, they've routed this very efficiently together.
Yep. We did get a sword there for Flip Heel, thankfully.
It only took...
Now he is on Master Sword. Still probably going to be relying on that hammer against Trinex, but Master Sword is still better than a Fighter's Sword in so many ways.
Yeah, especially when we're coming into the Trinex fight. We don't have half magic. We apparently still have our one bottle that we haven't found a second one of anything at all whatsoever in the course of our
just about everybody has spent their green potion by now. So
yeah, So having a Master Sword for Trinex is like quite the boon. In this case for Flip Heel. I don't know how easy it will be. I mean, I guess he has a hammer, but you're right, but it's like, I'd much rather have a sword too. Oh man! Laser Bridge. Laser Bridge sucks.
Laser Bridge is fun. Trinex over there getting the Swamp Palace big, so that's the first step of 2 towards Kena Samaria. And there's a Hyrule Castle big key, along with the third Thieves Town small on Laser Bridge, so those are 2 fun checks that you can go back for your 4th CT small at some point.
Yeah. This will actually be pretty good though for Flip, so he can go into Thieves Town and then just get the big chest when he beats the dungeon. Not going to be too much out of his way, and then Iker, by the time he gets to Laser Bridge, maybe Flip will be finished fast enough to tell Iker if he needs that Thieves Town small key or not. But I mean, we can always just get it for insurance as well.
Iker using a lot of different strats to kind of whittle away at the eyeballs here on Vitreous. Now he's pulling out the bow and arrows that he just bought, and makes pretty quick work of them from that point on.
Yeah, I really like the side arrow shots for Vitreous as well, because you kind of like find like a spot that's somewhat safe, so you don't get damaged by the environmental effects like the slime, and then you can basically just shoot him from the side, and then the eyes usually don't really get to you either. So it's a pretty nice, consistent, and safe fight there.
Yeah. All right, so that is a fully cleared Turtle Rock. Flip Heel has a little bit of cleanup to do before he can get into GT. Mike, you're gonna grab a potion.
Yeah, very understandable. We're still apparently on Master Sword, or Fighter Sword. Soon to be Master Sword for Iker, but I mean, if this is also going to be our potential loadout for Ganon, Master Sword Silvers, I mean, I'm assuming Iker will either get Temper Sword or Silvers, because they know where they are, but it never hurts to have a potion. Okay.
Iker, I'll have to go back away. Oh, he's got to do pod.
Oh.
Did he...
I see.
Oh, I thought he fought Helmasar.
I thought so too. Maybe apparently he only did Eastern. Okay. I really thought that when Iker did... Wait, what? If we're doing Pyramid Fairy?
We're not doing Pyramid Fairy.
We're doing... Oh, so I think this was a GT small key? Maybe we need more GT keys? Well, did Trinex, I think, we just found Kena Samaria in Swamp. Oh, it is not a feels good moment.
No. Did Awase go back to Meyer? Oh, okay. Is he?
Uh,
All right. You could die on the overworld here and flute back. I guess is a way you could do this.
oh, and like, oh, because we haven't beaten Agus, this is like save a portal type of thing. Is it worth
Yeah.
it? Because we have a lot of health. But I mean, that being said, we're still on green mail, so maybe it's okay.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's fine. It's whatever.
It's true. Yeah. Don't worry. Fire Rod will be on their horizon as soon as they get their cane and finish up Meyer.
Did really neither of them check it after going to Hammer Pegs? I mean, I saw them down there. I didn't pay attention, but yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, Hammer Pegs was a TR small, so I certainly would expect both of them to do, but that's actually a good point. This is I mean,
Yeah.
it's Fire Rod's on Magic Bat. So it is a potential good thing to do for next time. There will be another match. All league weeks are between two teams for 2 matches of the same mode. And so if you can't do it this one, there's always room for improvement for next time. And yes, these using the lamp to light these torches is, I guess, well, I know it's not required, but yeah, it is what we have when we don't have the fire rod.
It unfortunately is just the added indignity of having to push the blocks out of your way.
Yeah, we can't do the speed strat that I read recently about you can shoot the fire rod through the moving blocks and it'll count. Or that saves a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do it that way as well.
Mm-hmm. Red also does mean that no spooky. Spooky action at distance, the probably the more recognizable spooky that people have seen in Meyer. No, I guess you can maybe still do. No, you don't have a fire rod to shoot anything with, so never mind.
Oh, we're gonna go prize on the eyes here.
Ooh, I'm excited.
We're gonna farm some rupees. Prize on the eyes is a somewhat obscure glitch here in Meyer, where if you leave the stun prize on the floor in previous rooms, it can drop from the small eyeballs here on Vitreous as you kill them. It has some niche uses, particularly if you get, an arrow drop as your stun prize, or a fairy can be really nice. Magic can be nice if you are doing like cape strats or something, but it doesn't come up all that often. Let's put it that way.
For more information, please visit
There's that red rupee.
Yeah, on Eyes on the Prize. I'm sure Trinex actually had probably a good hand in contributing to the wiki page. This is really cool.
Quite certain he did.
Okay, so if you are in kind of like don't forget to track us kind of type of situation, your partner, I'm gonna assume that Iker probably at this point has pod finished, so he's gonna go into GT soon. And if your flip peel, you're gonna finish up Thieves Town. You can go get the big chest. Are you just joining your partner like in GT, or are you gonna try and clean up some of these other like desert left side, desert right side with your 2 desert small keys?
Yeah, there's not a lot left outside of GT. There's
it's a nice temper sword,
like you said. You got Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, we got a nice temper sword that I don't think Iker's gonna get. That flip peel is very blessed now to have.
No, I don't think Iker's gonna get it, and I don't think either member of 2Pearl2Furious is gonna get it either.
That is unfortunate. I would always like to see, especially for NMG runners, like Awase is a very talented one. Flip Peel obviously a very talented one. To be able to have their comfort item, which is Tempered Sword, and of course boots. But we started with boots, so that's not in the picture.
And Ikir, unfortunately, having to do some backtracking here in TR. This is...
Oh, did we forget something?
Yeah, we've gone all the way back from past the big key door to...
We need bombs. I see. We didn't have a bomb for the dash room?
You can just bonk? We have real boots?
We do have real boots, yes. That's why it's called the dash room, so you can literally dash in that room to open the door. But like, what do we need a bomb for? Maybe it was just convenience?
I'm not sure.
Isn't there a bomb here, like in these pots as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're coming outside here. Okay, sorry,
Okay.
That's the... Yeah, all right. I did forget that was a thing.
Ikir even knows how to farm this bomb. You can tell he plays cross keys too. I won't say it's a common bomb farm, but when you stumble upon Laser Eyes, you will learn how to farm a bomb from that location without dying.
So now we see both members of 2Pearl2Furious here in TR. Unfortunately, Owase took a death there at Chain Chomps just to kind of rub his nose in a little bit more.
I won't say that he's used to it, because Chomps is one of the #1 run enders of NMG runs. It's never easy.
Yeah. Fortunately, he only has one small key left, so he's going to have to exit back out of here and pick up some more small keys to be able to finish this dungeon off.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, because we kind of saw that before Ikir and Flipeel came up to Tortorog, like they were, had to go basically to all corners of the world, just trying to pick up the rest of their TR keys. One was, I think, buried in Castle Tower, third chest, which I don't know if they've been to. Yeah, and then one was on Desert Ledge. I have no idea, honestly, where the other ones were.
So maybe one was in back of Skull, because that's not a place either.
Oh yeah,
either of them have access to yet.
Yeah, still no fire rod, unfortunately. I'm sure it'll come real soon. Speaking of not NMG, Flipeel, using non-NMG equipment.
Suffering the consequences.
Yeah, exactly. If you just use a regular bow, you could have also cheated 3-cycle. I'm just saying. By the way,
oh, that's a book. That's
no.
good. On our green pendant.
Yeah, green pendant turn-in, I don't know if that's considered to be fast. I don't know if right side desert is considered to be fast, because like I also don't know again the strategy or what the recommendations are. If you are in GT mode, you can access GT. You should just go to GT. Maybe they're worried about GT small keys. Like, there are 8 total GT small keys available. So you might think, oh, that's a lot. Now, that being said, though, like, to get into, like, kind of like one section of GT, okay. You need to spend, like, 1 or 2 keys. Like, you need 2 keys to get upstairs, 2 keys to get to rando room, a key to get to compass room, like, key to get for map chest. Like, the key spend rate is pretty high. Oh,
yeah,
no.
You need 6 if you spend them efficiently to do every check in Ganon's Tower. 5 if you're skipping the map chest. But it's still a lot to get even that, what is it, 30 out of 31 or 31 out of 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ikir. The firehead, or the ice head was incredibly elusive, but Ikir got through, and now we're on stage 2. Lamenting the fact that we're never gonna get Temper Sword.
Hammer finishing him off, so that's good. That'll be Crystal 7 for him. Again, Ice Palace small there on the green pendant turn-in, so Saha not really providing us anything today.
Nice small palace, small key, by the way, on Trinex. Oh, that is just so terrible.
That's stinky.
That's so bad.
That's stinky. Alright, so we've got both members of 2Pearl2Furious making their way over to Laser Bridge, where they'll be done with TR for the time being until they can come back with their fire rod.
Mm-hmm. And another Sword Rock small key, presumably. Oh, I guess there's. I guess no.
Yeah.
Trinex can. I guess looks like Trinex has one.
Yeah, Trinex still has one left. Yeah. Oh, no, Owase took a death on Laser Bridge.
Oh, no. Oh, I don't think he has a safety door either, does he?
He got the big chest, but...
Oh, okay. That's good. A secondary safety door. One not often seen.
Unfortunately, having to farm up magic just to get back there is still pretty... just really unfortunate feeling.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, like, the seeds, in terms of safety, not even like in terms of like health or armor or anything like that, it's just like kind of like offense. We didn't really get a sword. We got one sword very early, which is still appreciated. The second sword didn't come until Turtle Rock, which was like, 80 minutes later, and then Flip Heel, again, is probably the only one that's going to be fortunate enough to go get that Master Sword. Or sorry, Tempered Sword.
Right, well, there's one of our two CT Smalls in Castle Tower, or sorry, in Ganon's Tower Compass Room. As well as Skullwood's Big Key and a Mushroom, because...
And a Mushroom, yeah. Nice Conveyor's Tarpit's Pocky, not to be confused with Conveyor's Cross Pocky, which is what Flip Heel is doing. It's a nice quick medallion.
Meanwhile, we're seeing diverging routes here, since Flip Heel got in right about the same time that Ikir was getting to the key pod on the right side. Flip is coming in on going on left side, so Ikir, knowing that he's only going to need one more item, not going to necessarily need to spend all 6 keys here to get left side checked with Flip Heel coming in. They're kind of dividing and conquering on Ganon's Tower, getting it really nicely divided with how the timing worked out there.
Yeah, this is super nice. And Flip Heel, he has 6 keys coming in, which is really great, especially if he doesn't necessarily have to do right side. Well, we're seeing all of our Swamp House keys coming in now.
There's our last Swamp Small in the GT Big Chest.
Skullwoods, by the way, is so far away for logic. You see all of these, because the one Skullwood small key I think was in one of the 6 pod key lock ones, I think, and then there was one on left side Swamp, and in GT, they're just so far.
Yeah.
Good thing we don't have to waste our keys. We know how to spend them, intelligently.
That's true. So I'm curious for 2Pearl2Furious. I will say their name correctly one of these times on the first try tonight. For them, when do they realize that Magic Bat is the answer? How much more do they have left to do before someone realizes that square was never checked off on their tracker, even if they think the other person did it?
No, that's actually a really good question. If it was just like that,
because they've been in lockstep for the last 5-10 minutes, honestly.
Oh my gosh, we are gonna get an NMG Lambos fight because Owase doesn't have magic. I am so excited. This is the only way you should be doing Lambos. By coincidence, because you don't have magic.
And gets the 3
Very nice. So, really nicely done. You can tell Owase has played NMG before with how he has done bow Lambos. Yeah, he did very, very well. It was quite good. A very rare treat that you can kind of purposely engineer, I guess.
Anyway, while we were paying attention to all that, we got our last sword and our last Castle Tower small key from behind Ice Trinex, or behind Ice Armos today. Ice Trinex, boy, I'm jumping ahead to week 7, aren't I? But that's go mode for Don't Forget to Track Us. So. By the way,
given that, Ikir looks like he's got Humber Sword because he went to left side or right side. He got there. Okay, I was worried that Ikir wasn't gonna go get that sword or wasn't gonna be able to get the sword, but it looks like he's gonna be on probably Tempered Silverless. I don't think at this point digging up the silvers is gonna be worth it for Ikir. Because we're gonna get a shovel. But I mean, I don't know. It might be close. because we can get a shovel, and then maybe it's like a flute/dig. I guess kind of make, and if it breaks even, maybe it's okay. But like, I think it probably at this point, we're just gonna go and do silverless at this point.
Yeah, given that he only has Dark World dungeons left to clear, you're gonna end up doing an extra mirror and flute, and then a save and quit probably after all of that. So that's probably more time than you want to spend on it when you could just save and quit directly to Ganon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and if Iker didn't have Tempered Sword, then it's definitely worth it because you can save a lot of time on all phases of Ganon. Well, maybe not the third one, but like so then it'll be fine. But yeah, right now probably if it's just only the Ganon fight's going to be affected, probably not going to be worth your time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, 2Pearl2Furious is still dodging that magic bat check.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah, I think maybe at this point we can ask them. Like, is this something that maybe both people marked off the trackers, as you mentioned, just kind of assume the other person's already done it and then just hasn't brought it up yet? Because like you would do magic bat before these kind of big checks, right?
Yeah, I would think 100% you do that one before coming back into Thieves Big. But they may also be feeling behind at this point anyway, and maybe they're thinking we need to go for the nastiest place it can be and hope it's there. And unfortunately, Temper Sword's gonna be nice for Oase, but it's not gonna be anything that gets them back on track in this race, unfortunately, especially with don't forget to track us ascending GT.
Yeah, and it does look like actually we have all 4 Castle Tower keys. I maybe just mentioned it. I just blanked.
Yeah, that was in both the last sword and the last CT small were behind Ice Armos.
Oh right, okay, that's right. Okay, so both the Castle Tower keys were in GT, just on different sides. So that kind of explains all. Yeah, so it looks like with pretty comfortable equipment, Iker and Flipio are just gonna breeze through the rest of the seed. This is when you can have the unofficial race with your partner, who gets to finish the seed first, and then have bragging rights.
I think Flip's got a pretty big advantage there, given that he only has CT to do after this.
That's a good point, yeah. And I guess Iker has to go to Lamos. Now, of course, like
2 pendants to clean up. Both of them.
Oh, right, and Skull Woods. Yeah, that's true.
But still going to be a couple extra minutes on timing for him.
Oase remembering that we spent all of our arrows on Bow Lamos, but we are here to able to purchase an arrow upgrade. So we're now back to maximum capacity and then some.
GT small out of Zeld, so that's not going to do anything to help these guys find their way to GT, unfortunately.
Yeah, because right now we're missing, I guess, kind of the last major piece, which is the Fire Rod, which is that Magic Bat.
Yeah, now we're staring at the pause screen, which is never, ever a good sign. So you think they know at this point that something has slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just going to be a matter of cross-referencing and figuring out what got left behind.
Yeah, and this really does happen. I mean, not only of course this is co-op, you have a lot of chaos, going through, you're trying to play the game, you're trying to listen to your partner, you're trying to yell at your partner to do all this and that. And then also, this is more advanced than regular key sanity. This is some people can actually say this is arguably harder than entrance tracking as well. You just have so many more keys you have to go track of. And while this location, Magic Bat, kind of brought up, is not like a key drop specific location, the fact that you're just spending much more mental energy on keeping track of all the other things that are going on, it is just very easy to have something slip through like that much more.
Yeah, this is not the mode you want to play after like a long, hard, difficult day at work or at school or whatever. You kind of gotta save a lot of mental energy for this one.
Yeah, and actually, from your experience, Will, did you think that maybe it was harder to do co-op? Like, I've also heard that review from some people.
Yeah, my personal feeling is that this is the most difficult co-op mode that we've had. I think this is more difficult as a co-op mode than even co-op cross keys is, if you're comfortable with entrance, as a kind of starting point on that. Both of them are, pretty information dense, but this one is just a lot to keep track of, especially with the various states of logic with small keys. And Trinix finally heading to Magic Bat here. I think they have finally worked out that is the missing check, and he's going to see Fire Rod pop up here and probably say a nice gosh darn it or something.
Yeah. Where's the wiki page I can go edit? Yeah, I mean, at least it was a Fire Rod, and it wasn't like another, let's say, like bottle that apparently we only have found one more bottle. Oh, I got a very nice distance. Okay. We get to now watch Flip's Aga Hall of Fame. See how far he can get now with the hook shot and boots. Oh dude! I think Flip Heel wins. That is some really nice distance. His head is above the torch. That's a good French picture.
Ike, you're almost losing a cycle to the guaranteed 0 blue ball.
It's okay. Every once in a while, a blue ball just kind of sneaks in there.
Yeah, he just sneaks up on you sometimes.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, both of them, Iker and Flip Heel, are going to go through Castle Tower, but Flip Heel is going to be the first one to drop into Ganon, because he doesn't have anything left. He's already got all 12 of his dungeons done, and Castle Tower, and GT, so we're just going to go and beat Ganon with probably the most comfortable equipment that you can imagine. Silvers, Gold Sword, Red Mail. Not even Mirror Shield for Flip Heel. Any shield for Flip Heel is actually like anti-comfort. It's like a thorn for him.
Yeah, no, it will throw him off for sure. Gold Sword gonna make this nice and easy for Flip Heel. Silver's going to make phase 4 nice and easy for Flip Heel. Plenty of extra hits in them there just to be sure.
So actually, Will, when you do co-op with your partner, do you also try to tell your partner like, hey, these are the Aga patterns or these are the Aga 2 patterns? Is that ever like relayed? Over, just like Ganon warps, or like, hey, oh yeah, Ganon, goes into the upper right, or bottom left or something.
It depends on kind of where we're at, but yeah, we do, at least in my experience, we do try and share some of that information. Not so much with Aga 2, just because that one's more of a read and react, but like Ganon patterns, stuff like that, we do pass that along when it's relevant. Anyway, Flip Heel taking down Ganon, going to be the first of the 4 runners to finish tonight. Don't forget to track us halfway across the finish line. Of course, this mode, like most of our co-op modes, comes down to average time of 2 runners. So we do have to have both runners finish before this is an official victory, even though the SG infrastructure makes the winner tag pop up there for don't forget to track us. Not official yet. Still waiting on Iker to finish up Skullwoods and his Ganon fight before we can officially put this one in the books.
Yeah, well, these are going to be relatively fast dungeons. As you kind of see, maybe alluding to next week's mode, which is Boss Hunt. Iker pretty much is just on Dungeon Rush at this point. You saw how fast Desert can be. So you just go into the back. We're going to basically just go back to the back of Skullwoods. That should be, 2 minutes or so. And then another minute 42 minutes to go to Ganon, so Iker will be done relatively shortly.
Yeah, he's not far away from finishing. 2Pearl2Furious gonna... I think they're doing what the kind of sensible check is in their position and cleaning up the last checks before TR and GT, just hoping to get something outside of GT, looking for that last CT small, since they know that Fire Rod is going to be... That they know they were the second team to that, pretty much.
Oh yeah. And again, I mean, these things do happen, and that's why. Well, that's not why, but there is going to be another match between these two teams later on this week in the same mode. So 2Pearl2Furious are certainly have an opportunity to go get their revenge and tie up the series, assuming in this case ICure is on production to finish up the seed before Oase and Trinex. Of course, ICure. Unfortunately, we kind of saw them in GT2 having sword beams, which actually does hamper your progress for bosses. That's why we can purposely take some damage and just start slashing.
That does get his Mothula down. That is dungeon clear number 12, so only thing left for him is a Ganon fight. Across the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, save and quit. This is also kind of the nice thing about all dungeons, or if you end up, well, as a kind of consequence, you kind of do pendant dungeons last. Not really much, quote-unquote, punishment or anything like that. It's not like you have to go climb GT again, right? You just have a save and quit anywhere in Dark Worlds to go to Ganon directly. I'm assuming this is going to be a Death Warp to get some health back, maybe? Maybe?
I don't know that's how that works. I don't think that was intentional.
Okay, alright, well, he's got 2 more hearts than I think maybe he did before, I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, Oase saw a little bit of frustration there from him because he still needs to go back and get that TR small key. And ICure, unfortunately, having a time here on Ganon. He had to use. He bought a potion for GT, but had to use it on Trinex, so he does not have any potions in the belt, and
yeah, and it looks like he
can't
probably
really
he has to
too much cape here, given that you have to. He has to do a silverless fight, so he's going to have to save some magic for lighting the torches.
Yeah, but it looks like he's gonna activate the cape and just kind of spam slash, so at least it doesn't drain as much magic. And then I learned this technique earlier. You can hold on to the wall and not have your magic drain. That is something that you can use not exclusively in tile room, except it is a tile room-ish. They're falling tiles. Yeah, but also as you think also for the cape, it doesn't activate immediately. Like it may not be noticeable, but it just unlike Burna, there is a very slight delay. So if ICure did try to activate it, right before he kind of got hit the second time, maybe it was unfortunately a little too late. Taking no chances here though with the lamp. We're gonna guarantee our torch glitch, and ICure's I'm sure done this thousands of times by now.
And again, with the average timing, he knows at this point basically, as long as he gets across the line clear here, that his team is safe as far as average time goes. Because even if he obviously has no idea where 2Pearl2Furious.
Don't worry, it's your first time trying, okay?
It is not my first time trying. I feel so bad. But it is, they would both have to, even if they both finish now, it would still be quite a time span to have to make up for ICure, or quite a time delta for ICure to finish in and still get the win.
Yeah, it's a couple more spins. And of course, we're gonna definitely use a lamp to get the remaining set of spins down. Lamp, you can use a lamp a surprisingly lot of times, and basically not have your magic run out. But that is Ganon down for ICure. Big GGs to Don't Forget to Track Us, taking a victory in this series versus 2Pearl2Furious. And as Olive mentioned, looks like the rematch will be tomorrow 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so GG's to Don't Forget to Track Us, getting their first win of the season, and the first race of the season. And we do have forfeits in the race room now from Trinex and Oase. They've seen the result.
Understandably so.
Hopefully we'll be able to get everyone in here for an interview. We've got, we were just now joined here by ICure and Flipheel from Don't Forget to Track Us. GG's, gentlemen.
Yo, guys, GG's.
Thank you. Thank you, Leroy, so well. GG's.
So, what was your favorite part of this seed?
The bottle. Bottle to mirror. That was
I
hilarious.
had a feeling that was going to be the answer to that question, but just wanted to make sure y'all enjoyed that as much as we did. Because, yeah, oh right, it's 37 minutes in and we haven't seen a bottle yet from either runner. And yeah, it turns out that was the answer of all the things.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about what it could be there at the Eastern Big Chest, and that was not even on our radar.
Also
Yeah, that was
understandable.
It was such a surprise.
Yeah, definitely understandable.
My favorite part of the seed, other than getting Bomb Spooky the second try, was Vanilla Phelps key. Really
Oh,
excited
yeah,
for
that
the
was-
Vanilla Phelps key.
Yeah, that was that was just a beautiful, like, oh well, I'm just gonna go ahead and get completely paid off for doing 3 small key Swamp Palace.
Yeah, your bomb spooky was great. Flip. I was really proud to see that.
Shout outs
And,
to the setup. GG's Trinex.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're
Thank you
also
very much.
joined here by Trinex.
Yo, Trinex,
2Pearl2Furious. Got it right
GG's
first
to
try.
flip here and I here. We made some choices. I'm gonna go with that.
There were things that looked like they could have gone better for you
Yes.
guys.
The key thing is that we had that powder relatively early. We just never thought to go check it once we finally got the hammer and mirror, and it just searching around for some things for quite some period of time. But there was at least 3 items we just like last location because we had to think about it. So it was never gonna go well for us.
Yeah, that was one of several things that just did not go your way on this one. Obviously, that we were before you joined in, we were discussing the funny moment with the bottle and the Eastern Palace big key chest.
Yep, that one was like, God damn.
That was our last location too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, both teams last located it, and so we got to see everyone filter over to Eastern and then everyone filter over to Sick Kid.
Yeah, like we were going through our trackers, we just couldn't figure out what we were missing at that point. And it's like, having the 2 keys together. Oh, we realized that I couldn't do it the first time. So then we ran over to grab that bottle. So,
and we're now joined by Awase as well. GG's.
Yo, GG's.
Hey, GG.
GG.
Nice bow Lambos, Awase. That was the best fight, objectively speaking.
It was.
I wouldn't be
So,
surprised
yeah.
if you had a better Landmo than me with silvers.
I think it was the same number of cycles.
Same number of cycles, Flip. just saying, you can use your enemy
Aussie's the
skills
winner of
here.
that fight.
Yeah, the fire rod was one of the things that bit you. Unfortunately, neither of you guys had gone into left side of Mire before getting over to Swamp, and so
yeah,
you
it's
missed
like,
out on that game for a long time.
I was thinking about that, and it's like I wasn't sure if I was able to do it at that time because I couldn't remember if I opened that door or not because with the 2 keys going in, and I'm not sure when I got that lamp, I had spent everything or not. And
Yeah, the fact that Lamp was there over in Map Chest of Mire made it really awkward to try and get it when everyone was dipping it the first time.
Yeah. I guess going only the 2 keys for those doors and then just doing the slower routes through everything else would probably have been a better option. But by the time I was coming back from Fish Room, I was like, screw this. I'm not going to spend that key and go straight down.
Yeah, and I think... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it was tough because the Meyer Smalls were... The only 2 we had for a long time was, I think, the Old Man and one in Pod. So, like, before Mir, that was the only one, so...
Yeah, I guess so.
It was also funny because I was mentioning to Flip before the race. It's like, watching races earlier, it's like, don't go into Mire without 2 small keys. And so, of course, I dipped it with 1. And then I had to go back again for the big key for Swamp against the Samaria. So, triple dip of Mire. Yay.
Yeah, logically
don't
required
listen to
double
myself.
dip of Meyer. Logically required triple dip of Eastern. Like,
Yeah, this seed sent you to dungeons and then sent you back to the dungeons and then sent you back one more time to the dungeons.
And it just making us crazy all the
Yep.
time, making sure we didn't actually skip something on the ones we did, and then
Of course, that hammer and ice. That was just also really funny.
Yeah, like couple of our practice seeds, hammer was our key issue of missing something there. So it just was never gone well. But at least this time it wasn't the hammer. So we were happy about that. One step ahead.
Yeah, this mode is so awful. You don't get the key items like hammer, hook, mirror, and then mitts, fire rod, smart. Sometimes, like if you don't have all 6 of those, it just feels like such a slog.
Yeah, and you guys were rolling around on fighter sword for way too long at this one too.
When I got Samaria, my first thought was to go back to Myra and clear it, and I realizing what I was getting into, and I hated every choice of that because all of TR was open. At least most of it was at that time. It's just like, why am I going this with only fighter sword and hammer?
Yeah, no, it was just the seed was just mean, and there's not much else you can say about it than that.
Yeah. I think like how at least Flipeel, like I don't know if, I mean, it was a very fortunate set of circumstances. Like he went to pod early, so he was able to get some Skull with small keys as kind of a result of then, and then of course coupled with the fire rod, he beat Skull Wiz, and then he was able to get silver. So at least that was some reprieve from only fighter sword stuff. But I mean, that being said though, like yeah, it was very, very lean in terms of offense, like the entirety of the game until you got to Terrorog, you know, for a master sword, you know. And I think also like Flip, did you just forget the cave or something in Hype Cave the first time?
Yeah, I just I don't know. I don't know specifically. Maybe I thought I got it already. I definitely had Cape in my notes at some point, and then I don't know. I just got the 2 small keys. I think we had just found the hammer too, so I was like so focused on that stuff. And then yeah, I mean, it turns out I would have been fine because there was nothing in lava chest, and I could have actually skipped that. But yeah, that felt bad. But
Oh, all right. But I mean, like the fact that like that was your entry because into Castle Tower because you didn't have a master sword even after 80 minutes or whatever it was. Yeah, that was something.
and then Iker had an adventure in TR or something with bombs.
Yeah, I panicked.
I told him to get bombs cross key style. He was like, "What do you mean?"
Oh, he told me to get bombs cross key style. So I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's when you're going to from the left side all the way up to Chain Shops, and there's that set of 5 pots there, and they have like all your items. So I went all the way back for those, and then realized after I did that, I was like, oh right, the's a bomb right under the laser guys. And
I did hear a faint echo of circus music from your stream during all of that. I just want you to know.
So I told them I just like lost 3 seconds for us.
But yeah, GG's to everyone. Sounds like you guys are doing this again tomorrow night, same time.
I believe it's we're adding on pretty long. I hear, is that correct?
Yep. Me and BRD.
We will look forward to that one. So. But yeah, this is fun because like we've actually faced your team so many times in League so far, so it's actually kind of nice, having these matchups over again and again.
Yeah, and we kind of commented on earlier. You guys are 2 of the more long-lasting teams in League in terms of keeping pretty consistent membership and everything. So it's kind of fun that you guys have have a little bit of a standing rivalry now. Yep.
Yeah, we got like similar team composure too. Like we got 2 solely rando players, and now each of our teams have a big NMG buff. So it's a fun matchup.
Definitely.
Hope we get to see more NMG fights.
We should do NMG instead of random.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm on board. Vanilla preset week.
Just tomorrow, just throw it out and we'll just do that instead, right? That's allowed, right?
Dante, don't listen to any of this. It's okay. He's
nice eye on the prize, by the way.
Yeah, I was looking for arrows, and I was kind of unexpectedly did that.
I see.
Want to shout out to our trackers, Lumaga and Cordy Eye Boys, who kept clicking all the buttons during the chaos tonight. So many small keys, so many items, so many other things. They did a good job of keeping us informed, keeping us, on track here. And then shout outs to our runners. Give them a follow. Obviously, put on a fun performance for us tonight, and tune in tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have that race picked up and covered between these two teams again. But I think that'll just about do it for us here, unless anyone has anything else.
Yeah, thank you, Clear Mouse and Will, for all the commentary.
Yeah, I wanted to say the thing. Thanks a lot for picking this up tonight. We weren't sure it was going to happen or not. So.
Yeah, I know there was, I think 3 races at 9, and they all got, I think, a restream. So yeah, props to everybody across the board. Much appreciated.
Yeah, big shout out to all of our volunteers who help out and make these restreams happen. It is a volunteer effort and helps to put on just these fun events for everyone, and have everyone together and chat watching these races. So if you're able to help make those happen, we're happy to have any help we can get. All right. Well, Clear Mouse, it's been fun.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Will. I want to echo what everybody here in the voice channel has said. Thank you so much for commentating this race. It's a ton of fun. I think this race was great. You guys put on like a really fun show for us. We got to see a lot of great entertainment action, and also very good execution and gameplay. And yeah, definitely looking forward to game 2, I guess, between you guys, your 2 teams tomorrow, 9 p.m. And looks like I actually got a couple more on the schedule. Oh, there are a lot. Yeah, this league season is in full swing. There are 6, 7 matches, 8 maybe tomorrow for Invitational League, starting at 2 p.m. And probably all the way basically through, let's say, like 10 p.m., 10:30. So yeah, lots of rando, and hopefully keep your eyes on the schedule. But yeah, good luck, best of luck to you guys in game 2 in 80 KDB for tomorrow night. Yeah, and big thank you to Lumaga and Cordy Boys. I mean, they have the hardest job in this is to track. I will never take any trackers for granted.
Yeah, no, this is this is heavy work. All right, thanks y'all. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a great night.